Energy. Today I'm going to show you how to insert yourself into a film or TV show, as well as share some tips on how to make your green screen more realistic and more believable. So earlier in the year, we had this silly spitball idea of putting my boss Jay into the counselling scenes in the 2005 movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith, starring Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. To do this, I had to watch those scenes on repeat, taking their pre-existing dialogue and making new responses for Jay to say, to make it sound like he's actually advising them on their social media content as opposed to helping them with their marriage. Now, if you want to do this yourselves, not only are you going to have to pick the film or TV show, but also the scene. You need to think logistically of how can you fit into that world and make it work. Whether it's just a scene with actors already in there, or if it's a completely new shot that you need to build, you need to think of these things ahead of time. So when it comes to filming and eventually the post-production side of things, you're going to be prepared. Once you've chosen your scene, that's when you're going to have to examine it to death. The lighting, the composition, the depth, all the little details paint this picture. So to really sell the illusion that you're in there with them, you're gonna need to replicate this the best you can. Okay, so you've done your prep, maybe done a little script of how you're gonna interact with the characters and just have a bit of pre-knowledge for when you put this into post. Once you've done that and you're ready to film, preferably you're gonna use a green screen. There's a gazillion videos out there on how to do green screen well and on different budgets, so go seek out those kind of videos first and then come back into this. Now, when it does come to filming, you're gonna wanna make it look like it's shot on the same camera, or at least with the same style. So really, and I mean really, get into those scenes and how they're shot. Yeah, you can probably adjust a bunch of these things in post, but it's still important to get it as close as you can to how that scene is initially shot. But what it all comes down to really is the lighting. When you're using green screen, you're going to use a lot of light anyway. You want to make the green screen itself well lit to get rid of any creases or any shadows, but also don't overdo it so you've got hot spots on the green screen, because that's really hard to key out. And once the green screen is lit fine, then light your subjects. Don't forget to white balance before you start shooting. Composition and frame rate are really key to this as well. You're going to want to see how the shots are framed up, how you can best match that if you're creating a new shot. Try and match to what the movie is doing. Eyeline is key too, so just make sure you get your distances and your directions right, and then you're going to make this illusion work even more. Once you have your new footage, you're going to want to start editing. Go ahead and open up Premiere Pro.
Other editing programs are available.
And let's get into it. So getting rid of the green screen in the edit is actually quite simple these days. The process is called keying, and it's keying out the green screen so you've just got the subject by itself, and then you can put whatever you want in the background, and essentially that's where you put your subjects into the new scene that you're going to create. Now, if you're creating a whole new shot, like I did with content counselling, but you want to match the location that's already in the scene, you're going to want to take as many high quality screenshots of that scene first. So in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, we never see the marriage counsellor that they're talking to, but we do see plenty of the room that they're in. So for Jay's backdrop, you just want to show a little variation to show it's a different side of the same room. So what I did was open the screenshots in Adobe Photoshop. Once there, I used the Content Aware Fill tool on the actors to get them out of the scene, and any foreground objects like chairs and tables. Then cut and paste various segments of the scene to make a continuous blank slate of the room. Once I added Jay into the scene, I could see which parts of the backdrop needed more work and where I could potentially add elements back in to patch things up. So I only noticed in post that there's a lot more light on this side of Jay's face than there should be. So I needed something in the scene that was contextually giving him that light. So I chose a table and a lamp just to put next to Jay that fit the decor, and it looked like it was already there. And again, looking at the original scene to see what is and isn't in focus, I adjusted these elements accordingly. So the contrast, the exposure, the blur, all these things add up to fool your eye into thinking that these things are real or meant to be in the scene. So it's really worth checking out. All that's left to do is make sure that the color correction is on point and see if there's any other little details that you can do to make sure it matches that original film. And another thing to look out for is the sound. You probably recorded the new footage with the best sound quality, most crystal clear recording that you've ever done. But again, refer back to the original scene that you're putting yourself into. What does that sound like? Is there any grain? Is there any certain background noise that you need to put in there? Anything that suggests that your new footage still isn't connecting or integrated into those original scenes? Is there anything that you can fix there to make the illusion work even more?
Well, I think my work here is done.
And there you have it. That's all I have to share on how to make your green screen more believable. Hopefully this has helped you guys. Let me know in the comments below, especially if there's any work that you've done in a similar vein. I'd love to see how you guys have attacked this, so send us some links as well. Don't forget to subscribe for more GL content, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bizzle. Hey guys. Nope, I can't do that. Can't do it. Nope. My body refuses it. No.